The Shining is a horror film, but not just your average horror movie. It's more than horror. Calling this a horror film seems a bit disrespectful considering just how influential this film was. And the crazy part about this is that it had mixed reviews when it came out in 1980. Thank God the people back then got their shit together. Nowadays, you'll find this film to be considered a classic among other fan favorites like Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Scream, A Nightmare on Elm Street, but unlike those films where you know immediately who the villain was, in The Shining, it seems like there is no villain, no monster. You know it, but you can't see it. Is it Jack Torrance himself, or an evil entity that haunts this hotel? Is there even an entity? Let's start with the easy to understand stuff. The Overlook Hotel is one of the most impressive and most interesting set pieces seen in any movie I have watched, or really any movie for that matter. It's a surreal experience, it's illogic, it's a layout that doesn't make sense. You know that, yet it feels like everything is where it's supposed to be. It's like an illusion. The film is about a writer and his family who take care of a hotel during the off-season, but something happens during this stay. He snaps and tries to kill his family. Seems simple to grasp, but you are never really sure when he snaps. This detail is never presented in a clear and cut manner. The imagery is striking, and since this was the 80s, they used practical effects for these scenes, which is very impressive. In a modern film, you would think these were made using CGI. The actors who portray the characters in this film are perfectly casted. The Shelley Duvall, Danny Lloyd, Scatman Crothers, Jack Nicholson, and many more all gave an incredible performance. Especially Jack Nicholson and his over-the-top but maniacally expressive performance. He conveys so much emotion just by using his face. Sometimes he acts normal, sometimes crazy, sometimes he is in his deep thoughts. The scene where he types on his typewriter is unbearably tense, especially when you know what story he wrote. The Shining focuses more on scary imagery rather than silly little jump scares. And while I argue there is only one jump scare that is actually pretty good, the rest of the scares is up to you for interpretation. The cryptic layout of the Overlook Hotel is also something that makes you question things. Danny is the one who explores this giant hotel, and yet even if everything looks natural, in reality it doesn't make any sense, and the film never bothers to explain that to you, just like many things present in this film. If there's one thing that does more heavy lifting to this film than the actors, it's the background music. Every song you have heard in this video comes from this film. It's such a scary soundtrack, and I love the way they use some of the songs in here. There are many scenes where nothing scary happens, but it's that damn specific song in the background that makes things scary for no reason. Even in its opening credits, you can hear this foreboding tune composed of, I think, synths, which suggests a looming evil presence that watches over this family as they drive towards the Overlook Hotel. And suddenly, you are being stabbed by the violins in a rather tense situation, almost as if the music puts you in the shoes of Wendy. After a crazy stuff happens, silence. All that is left is this final lingering shot of the hallway leading to the gold room. You see a bunch of black and white photos, but the camera points to a standout. It looks like a lively party, and in front of that sea of people is someone that looks more or less Jack Torrance. Dated July 4th, 1921.